GM everybody, welcome to another set of Web3 demos brought to you by BanklessDAO and Fight Club. We're here every Wednesday bringing you the newest and hottest Web3 tools, and today is no different. I just want to start things off by reminding everybody that none of this is financial, investment, legal, tax, or any other kind of advice. We're just here to check out new tools and figure out how we can use them and integrate them into our daily operations. Joining us today is Mendez from Avenue. And Avenue, I'm going to be totally honest here, I don't fully understand it yet, but essentially it's a place to get shit done where you can create rooms and sort of post your tasks. And I'm going to leave it at that and just introduce Mendez and let you give us the full-on intro. Welcome, Mendez.
Thank you, GM, everyone. So nice to be here. So just very quickly, quick intro. I'm Mendez, one of the co-founders and CEO of Avenue. Avenue, the best description that you can give is definitely a place to get shit done. That's just straight up what we want to do and how we want to help people in Web3. I can give you a quick intro if you want, but essentially Avenue is a collaboration platform for, I'm going to call it the new fabric of work. Essentially, we operate very similarly to GitHub, but for quote unquote normal people. We're going to see all of that in action, but Avenue is a place where contributors can get together, get work done, and ship work to their favorite organizations, DAOs, communities, whatever they want. We've come to realize that most of the tools that are in the space right now are just not fit for purpose. As an example, we're doing this on Discord. Discord is one of the best community management tools, but it's very lackluster when it comes to getting things done. And it's very lackluster because, well, you basically are in a complete silo. All of your reputation, all of the stuff that you do, all of the relationships that you create, they're owned by this community, in this case by Bankless, but not Bankless as a community itself, the Bankless community within Discord. And that isn't great because we see projects that just end up getting lost in between the mess that this tends to become. We see projects and people that lose all of the reputation when they join a new server. They don't carry that reputation. They don't own it. There's a part of themselves that essentially gets lost when transferring from one place to the other. You know, I could have a terrific reputation from work that I've done in separate DAOs that I've been a part of. But when I move to Bankless, as an example, you don't know anything about me. You don't know what I've done unless you somehow get a little bit of word of mouth. Avenue solves this by flipping the script upside down. Up until now, tools have been focusing on a traditional way of working, an old world, so to speak, where you're essentially contracted to a single entity, to a centralized entity that owns your time, owns your relationship, owns your work. You work for a company, you give them the hours, and in the end, you're always obligated to do things according to that contract. You're always obligated to do things according to the hierarchy, and you're obligated to do things in a way that's not necessarily what's best for you. Enter Web3, enter DAOs. And the advent of DAOs and Web3 communities basically means that the way we work has a new platform for change. People no longer have to be bound by a single organization. They no longer have to be bound by a single community. They no longer have to be bound by anything but their interest, their availability, and their skills, their creativity. Unfortunately, the tools are not accompanying this. There are a few crazy stats, stuff like it's expected that 50% of the workforce of the US by 2030 is going to be gig workers, and gig workers are defined as people who work for multiple organizations. So it's kind of, in a way, the thing that the Web3 ethos and the DAO ethos is bringing forth and making it widely available. And there's even a crazier stat for me, which is that 40% of Gen Z and millennials already work for multiple organizations. They don't have the tools, they don't have the opportunities to make this mainstream, but there's a very clear intent in the fabric of work to move towards this way of living, way of working, which is much more human. You work your hours, you work according to your interests, your skills, your availabilities, projects that you're interested in, and stuff like that. So DAOs just, and Web3 in general, just enable this on a whole new level. But as I said, there are no tools for this. All the tools are very much top down. They're hierarchical, they're siloed, they're walled gardens. Avenue is the opposite of that. Avenue places the contributor as the center of the experience. I'm going to take you on a tour of the platform. You're going to see for yourselves how we still have some concepts of this old world where you're going to see a bankless community that I just onboarded just to show you in this demo. But you don't need any of that to get things done. You only need to log in and you only need your skill set. I'm going to open this up for questions in case you have them before I jump in right into the weeds of it.
No, none from me currently. Salman?
No, all good. I'm just like interested to find out how Avenue achieves all of that.
Perfect. Let's get right onto it. You can still see my screen, right? I'm going to change from the Avenue website to the Bankless community profile. So this is a very bare bones profile that I just created specifically for this demo. You'll be able to edit this according to whatever you like. Just to give you an example, this is what the Avenue profile looks like, and it's a little bit more developed. We're going to be iterating on this over the next few weeks, as we've only launched the public beta on Friday. But going back here, what you see, these are what we call home bases. They're organizational profiles. And if we go to the Avenue one, you can see that it is split into what we call hubs. These can be whatever you want. They can be sub-DAOs, guilds, teams, projects. They're basically a way for people to know what's going on in the community and join. So as an example, we have a private hub here for our development team, but we also have an open public hub for bugs and feedback where anyone can join and just join that conversation and open it up and start to send messages here. So this is very traditional, very hierarchical. This is the only bit of Avenue that is more traditional, so to speak. We basically enable communities to come here and bring their members over to talk in these hubs. So if you went to the Bankless profile, you'd be able to open it up, open the conversation, have a little chat here, understand what's going on. But the bulk of the work doesn't get done here. The bulk of the work gets done in rooms. So I'm going to create a new room now. Rooms are completely independent from hubs, from home bases, from whatever concept we have. They live on their own. And it's pretty cool because what I'm going to do now is send you this invite link, and hopefully you'll be able to join. I'm just going to post it here on Discord and give anyone who wants to join a little while. The login process was having a few issues with the load, so it's gonna show a warning, very likely gonna show a warning. You'll either have to refresh or just click to join the room, but you should be able to join it very easily.
Yeah, I had that today. It was a little bit confusing at first. Yeah. It just said, keep waiting, and then I refreshed and went straight ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So if the warning pops up, it's because of we had a fair few people join in and our login process wasn't as trimmed down as we wanted to. So you're here already, which is fine. Right, I'm going to change the name of the room and I'm going to call it Avenue BanklessDAO Fight Club Demo. There we go. So I'm just going to wait for a few more people to join. Hopefully you'll all be able to join because we're going to see this get superpowered really quickly. Work on Avenue, in the meantime, is done through what we call outcomes. Outcomes are like pull requests. So you start to see some analogies and connections to GitHub. You create a title, and you give a summary of what you did and why you did it. So imagine you have a marketing guild, you'd be able to come here, post a blog post here, submit that to the marketing guild hub, whatever you want to call it, and people on the other side would approve it. When we get to it in a sec, let's all do it interactively. I'm just going to check in the meantime if anyone has joined, and let me know if you're having issues joining, please. Oh, hey, Hunty, nice seeing you here. Right, in the meantime, I'm going to create. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask specifically. So you mentioned marketing guild. So we would set up channels for each independent sort of work stream or each independent guild or department.
Really up to you. We haven't figured out what is optimal because it really depends on how you organize yourself. I know that you have here at Bankless, you have like the PM guild and you have Fight Club and all that. My intuition tells me that you'd probably start by setting up a hub for each of these, and then you'd be able to split it off as you go and adapt as you go. There isn't a clear-cut solution, and we made Avenue to be as flexible as possible, just precisely because of that. It's supposed to work from DAOs with 10 collaborators to 10,000. In the meantime, I'm just going to create this hub, and I'm going to call it presented Avenue to Bankless and Fight Club. We did the demo, that went really well.
Hey, man,
so this could be a block. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm seeing that error. Like, what should I be doing? There was an error creating a profile.
Can you refresh it? We had a few issues, but by refreshing it, it should have disappeared.
Okay. Yeah, it's set up. Awesome.
Yeah, perfect. Apologies for that. We're on it, but it's going to take a little while. So this is the title. This is the body, so to speak. This could have been a blog post. This could have been a decision saying we got together, we decided to do this or that or something. Basically work in its essence. And you propose the outcome to a home base. These are all of the home bases that are currently on Avenue. I'm going to select Bankless here, and I'm going to point it to the public hub. So you could point this outcome, this pull request, so to speak, either to the whole home base or to a specific hub. I'm just going to point it there, and I'm going to add automatic actions. Once this outcome gets created, sent to the hub, admins will be able to review, basically do a, let's call it code review, if we use our GitHub analogy still. So we can do things like record contributions, which is what I'm going to do now, and you're going to see everything in action pretty soon. In the meantime, if you haven't been able to join the room, just click the invite link and you should be able to join. I ideally want a few more people to get their first contribution done here. So if you can do it, go ahead and join. I'll wait for a little while longer. You can see that this outcome for now, it says in room, so it's internal to us. We could just open this, in common and get feedback, work on it a little bit, have a bit of back and forth. We could edit and so on. For now, it's only internal to this room. Once I click submit here, it's going to be sent to this public HQ hub, and the admins of that public HQ hub will have to review it. So you can see here that the admins for now are me and NFT Thinker. And I'm going to let NFT Thinker approve this in a little while. Going back to our room. There we go. One more person has joined. Two more. Anyone else wants to join, or can I move forward?
I think you can just keep moving forward, and people can catch up as we go. So if you've already created an Avenue account, go ahead and visit that link, which is in the amphitheater chat. Avenue Place Rooms invite, and then it's got a random string at the end there. Click, you've just posted again. Thank you. Click on that. If you have an account, go ahead and you just join the room. And if you don't have an account, sign up. It will give you a quick little error, which is just a known error currently that they're working on. Refresh your page, and you should be good to go. But yeah, in the meantime, move ahead.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. So like I said, we could open the outcome, we could do a few comments here, but I'm just going to submit this. And you can see that before submitting, it says that once the outcome is approved, these actions will be recorded. I kept myself as admin of BanklessDAO. In the meantime, you can see here that in the hub, you can join this hub just by visiting the BanklessDAO page. We got an outcome, and now because I'm an admin, I get this decline and approve buttons, but I also get these for feedback. So I could say things like, let's change this up, or even just give a thumbs up and say, yep, looks good to me. Let's move forward with this. This allows the admins to have a little bit of back and forth and do async work. You can also see that all the people that were in the room are a part of this outcome. So we all got together, we made this outcome to the public HQ at BanklessDAO. And now, assuming it will be someone else as an admin, just for the sake of the example, I'm going to approve this. Now, when I approve, it's going to run these automatic actions. For now, it's just going to create contributions for your profiles. But in the future, we're planning on adding things like automatic payments based on the work that you've done, submitting expenses, HR stuff that nobody wants to do, or even doing things like giving you roles and permissions, sometimes even on chain, because we're talking with the folks at Hats Protocol about doing a cool collab around this. So I'm going to approve this. You can see here on my screen, approval was started, approval was completed. And if you go to your profiles, I'm just going to open a random one. You should already have a nice badge with the Bankless logo, with the text of everything that went through. So you get to build your work on chain as you do things, just as a byproduct of working on Avenue. If you go to my profile, you can start to see that there are quite a few contributions here. Most of them say on chain, but I could also go here and click mint and select a few and then mint them all. I'm not going to do the minting because it's classic MetaMask rigmarole. We can already see here there are a few contributions that look slightly different. And these are contributions that weren't even made on Avenue. They were done on the governed platform. But since this is Web3 and it's supposed to be completely interoperable, once you log in on Avenue, you actually get this whole, all of the repetition that you accrued before, all of the work that you had, for now on Govern, it gets automatically imported to your profile. And the same thing, like if you go to Govern, you should be able to see your Avenue contributions. And yeah,
Before you move on from that minting window, I noticed that I tried to mint myself and it tried to change me over to the XDAI network, which I haven't set up currently. Is that going to be are you going to remain on there, or do you have plans to move to Optimism or Polygon?
Yeah, we're very good question. Yes, there are plans. We're using the government protocol for now, so we're talking with them about supporting more chains. For now, they're only on Gnosis chain, so we're using that, but we're expecting this to change in the near future.
Got it.
Very, very good question. I'm not a big fan of having to do the whole bridging myself, to be honest.
Just curious, this demo that is appearing in like my profile, it's appearing because you just made that action to appear in my profile, or why? Yeah, just curious, why is it appearing in my profile? Yeah.
It's appearing on your profile because we're part of this room that made this outcome to BanklessDAO. So you join the room submitted this, got it, submitted the outcome, got it approved, and it shows up automatically. We're adding mechanisms to allow you to hide contributions that you're not a fan of, or even to burn them if they're on chain. And we're also going to add a feature that doesn't require you to actually ship work to record things. So let's say that we're doing a blog post collaboratively, and there's just a huge amount of work that goes that is invisible in that blog post. You could have research, you could have interviews, you can have a bunch of things. And when you ship work, you only ever see the end result. You don't see the steps that it took to get that done. So we're going to be shipping a feature that allows you to just add what we call a milestone. And that will allow you to capture stuff like today I did a research with Salman around this particular topic. And it doesn't need to be connected to a room, doesn't need to be connected to an outcome. It's just you and me getting stuff done. And we're also going to be removing these outcomes from rooms so that you could present them individually. This means that if you have a really good idea for a DAO, or if you have something that you're not doing collaboratively, you can still submit this to the subsections of Bankless and get approved and get paid for that all automatically.
Okay, so let's just have a very quick overview. So we've got home base, which is essentially your organization. And then within your home base, you can create as many hubs as you want. And that hub could be, we can set those up, for example, marketing department, project management guild, and et cetera, et cetera. Within each of those hubs, you have rooms, which would be similar to, say, channels or threads. And then within, or sorry, I guess the rooms would be similar to channels. And then within those rooms, you have outcomes, and those outcomes would be similar to threads.
Not quite. So,
okay.
The 100% on the part about home bases and hubs, rooms are independent. So I could create this room and tweet this link and just let people join, and we'd still be able to submit to any public hub or any public DAO. If at any moment you could just come here to the public HQ and said, you know what, I don't want this to be public anymore. I'm going to change this to private, and no one would be able to submit it anymore except for people that are already here. So hubs and home bases, they're the DAO side of things. They're like the organizational point of view. Contributors work within hubs. They can get together here and chat here, but they get together in rooms to ship outcomes, and it's just that. So yeah, basically I could just send you, again, a new room invite, and we'd be able to do this again, or we could even do something interesting, which is did more demos to Bankless. I'm going to copy the same content, and I'm going to ship this to, not Designer DAO, apologies, to Avenue. So I'm just going to do this to our private HQ, post it here, and again, we could do a little bit of back and forth. This is like a pull request on GitHub, and I could submit it. So the fact that we're all together in a room by design just gives you DAO to DAO collaboration and guild to guild collaboration, so to speak. You just get people together and you get them working and whatnot.
Cool, cool, cool.
Any questions so far?
Just like for clarification, it looks great. So when you're doing a pull request, are you doing a pull request within a room? Are they like tasks within the room?
Yes, they're not necessarily like tasks. They're just stuff that you've done. So to give you an example, on Avenue, we're using this to record our decisions. So we're talking in our development hub or in separate rooms, or a very concrete example here, actually. Let me show you this. This is our development hub, and two of our developers got together in a separate room. They designed a new API proposal. They made that proposal. We did a little bit of back and forth, and then this was approved, and they got their contributions minted and stuff like that. So you can also use this for decision making. You can use this to work with people who you're accustomed to do work with, and then ship stuff to, in our case, the development hub. We're using Avenue to build Avenue itself. And already, Hamti asked in the chat, are we able to make shared contributions? Yes, all contributions are shared if they're from outcomes. We're going to be able to, we're going to put out a feature that allows you to make individual or shared contributions outside of outcomes. There's also another question here. What's Avenue's inspiration for organization? As an example, John Bust is based on Notion and so on. It sounds a little like GitHub from what you've just seen. Yes, GitHub for non-technical people is kind of a way to do it, to describe Avenue. You can basically set up, just do work and set up your profiles and get together to do that. We also have a very cool Discord integration. So if you actually propose things to Avenue, I'm going to give an example here, create a new outcome. And I'm going to ship this outcome to Avenue. This is a new outcome. Post it in the room, submit it. And now you should be able to see my Discord, hopefully. So we have a Discord bot. Yeah, we have a Discord bot that lets people know that an outcome has been submitted. In this case, since I submitted it to the whole Avenue profile, it's me and Nelson who are the admins, so we got notified of that. But if it was saved to I think it's the development hub that is handled by Bernardes and Rita, our engineers, then only them would have been notified here. So you actually get to have a bit more interactivity. You can also create new rooms and list rooms through our Discord /commands. This gives you a link that you can share to people. So I just created this room. I could open it or I could share it here. I'm just going to open it and it should show the new room just like that. So we have a very tight Discord integration as well. I'm sorry, Humpty, you asked me, can I demo that? What is that referring to?
I think referring to shared contributions.
I can't demo that, but if I can show you the Figma files for it, I just need to search for them. You're going to need to give me a little bit of time to do that, but I'm happy to do it. Yeah, no, it's likely going to be available, I want to say by the end of next week, but I don't want to commit to timelines.
Yeah, that would be good to see some of the designs for that as well. Okay, so anybody who's playing with this right now, I challenge you to go ahead and make a contribution, new contribution in the Avenue, new outcome, not contribution, a new outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still coming to terms with all these names. Make a new outcome. I think I've got 2 drafts is what I've done. And I'm trying yeah, so play around and then ask questions. Lots of questions. Bring them on.
So I actually think I can show you this. Let me see if Figma works. So this is not in demo format at all. This is just our internal implementation. But in a room, you're going to have, above the outcomes, you're going to have this new milestone thing. Can you see it, by the way, before I get ahead of myself?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, perfect. So you get this new milestone button, and then you are able to set up a title and an optional summary. And you can tag people in, like that you've done this with them. So this is an example. Of course, this is design. So we're trying to put all of the edge cases so that our engineers can implement them. But you just put the title and the summary. It looks like this if you post it in the room, but notice this step here. Raphael posted it, so he's given his consent for this to appear in their profile. But for me or for other participants, I would need to click add to profile or add to my contributions before it actually displays. This is to avoid being able to post up on other people's profiles. They have to give their consent, and this means just signing, giving a small signature. These people haven't given their consent yet, so they get to do it. And once it's done, like classic signature flow. And once it's done, it looks like this. Notice a detail here. Once these type of contributions, these milestones go on chain, if people haven't given their consent, they're removed from it. So you can't be putting things on chain that people haven't consented to. And that's our workaround for some of the big issues for shared contributions. One other thing is that we're going to be revamping our profile in the meantime. It started off like this. I don't have a design to show you yet, but it started off like this because it was easy to capture units of change, units of work, which is essentially what you do on Avenue. On GitHub, these are Git commits. On Avenue, they're outcomes. But what we want people to be able to do with their profiles is to tell their story, and tell their story through the contributions they've done, through the work that they've done on all of the organizations that they're a part of. So we're going to be revamping the whole thing to be more of a story and less about, you know, just an endless scroll of these cards. We have some pretty cool ideas. So hopefully you're going to be able to see some really, really cool things come up.
Nice. Yeah, that's really interesting. And so Humpty has more questions. So how does Avenue address Sybil attacks on the platform? Do you use digital identities, NFTs, or SBTs for creating accounts? And that's obviously super important because, you know, when it comes to creating contributions, joining, viewing things, and also voting on things, that is an important part of being Sybil resistant.
Yeah, 100% of that. So that part specifically is in our roadmap because we care a lot about privacy and security. That's why we're reworking the way that we do contributions and milestones and things like that. Right now, you just log in with a wallet and you claim a username. And that's why someone here posted a screenshot in the chat about using the primary ENS. That's why we default to ENS first, precisely because of that, because it's tied to an identity. In a way, it's not completely, of course. And it's an easy way to at least give you a good sense of who's who. I'm just saying you were not prompted to use ENS. You have to set the reverse resolver to do that. That's a technical limitation that we currently have. Hopefully we'll be overcoming it soon. But if you have the reverse revolver set up, you can see the screenshot that someone posted before, and they were prompted to use their ENS. By default, we capture that immediately. We also have a few upcoming integrations that we're working on. We want people to be able to do cool things like having an account and having a wallet with a few, let's say, tokens that give you access to a certain community. Of course, token getting is in our roadmap pretty soon, to be fair. But if you have tokens in a wallet, you should be able to access the same communities through a second wallet. We believe that it shouldn't be tied to wallet. It should be tied to your quote unquote real identity. I'm not talking about doxing, but if you own those wallets, you should be able to have the same access for both. So we're going to be integrating with DID providers to allow you to, as an example, if you have bankless tokens on your secondary wallet, you should be able to access a bankless community if you want to, if you explicitly give your consent to do that. That's big for us. That is one of the core principles, never put the identity into question. That's why we're trying to bring this forward as soon as we can. Hopefully that answered your question, Humpty.
I can see his Chippy nodding. Okay, nice. So yeah, I've been playing around with this for a little while, and it is, yeah, you can tell that there is a lot of potential here with, you know, for getting things done. That's your tagline, right? Get things done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what sort of usability, what sort of user testing have you done, and sort of UI, UX upgrades are possibly in the pipeline?
Oh, such a good question. So one of our co-founders is a designer, and that's big for us because we always wanted UX to be a core part of Avenue since the beginning. But we're a tiny, tiny team. Like we're six, and of those six, one person is doing exclusively ops work, the other is doing community and marketing and partnerships. So our product team is actually a size of 4. So we're very limited in terms of the resources that we have available. That's why you see a clean UI, but nothing too fancy. We're not trying to do fancy UI things. Right, so in terms of what's upcoming, we just released this like a few minutes ago, like allowing you to discover home bases on Avenue and finding communities that you can contribute to. We're also going to be revamping the profile completely. And after that, we're going to be revamping the org profile, because this, to be honest, it's clean, but it isn't pretty. It's not eye-catching, and it's not easy to make people aware of what's happening. Also, when you enter a room, when you enter a hub, you don't get a sense of what's going on. We mitigated it with listing the most recent outcomes to this hub, but it's not the best way to do it. So we have in our pipeline what we call a hub overview. We've been working on it for a few weeks now. And yesterday, Slack announced something very similar, which they call Slack Canvas. For us, it was a big validation because they're massive, and they found need for people to have something like that to work on. And we've been already working on it for a few weeks. So we're going to be launching that fairly soon, I hope. And it's a way for people within hubs to get a sense of do notes, do shared work, do collaborative work, but also get an overview of what outcomes are up there, what people can pick up, what projects are ongoing, what's the current status. If you just joined this hub, if you just joined the PM guild or marketing guild or development guild, what's ongoing, where can you help, what's needed. And we're avoiding the mindset of going into bounties, because bounties are great, but they require a lot of context. So they're only actually very useful when you can have tasks that don't need people, that allow people to just jump in and get things done. For stuff that's a bit more complex, that's more difficult, and we're trying to address that with our hub overview. So those are a few of the UX teachings that we got. We also completely reworked our interactive tutorial. If you joined Avenue, you should have this /profile/welcome link. I don't have it anymore because I've already done my interactive tutorial, but if you join this link here, which I'm going to give you, you actually get a start tutorial button that walks you through step by step. And we spend quite a bit of time with doing that because it helps you get to your first contribution, to your first badge on your profile in less than a minute. And it walks you through all of the concepts on Avenue, which was pretty big for us in terms of UX, from seeing people not going through and not getting their first contribution to getting it in just a minute, maximum 2.
Beauty. All right, so lots to come in the pipeline, and it seems like you've been working really hard on the UI UX up to now. So we're coming up towards the end of this 45 minutes. I'm just wondering if anybody has any more questions. Ornella, I see you've just joined. So give a quick scan through the chat there and click on the link that Mendez posted earlier. It's up above. He's posted it twice, avenue.place/room/invite. And you should be able to jump into that room and get involved in the conversation. Yeah, this has been super cool. And Z5 says dark mode, please. Any plans for dark mode?
Yes, so much. Yes, absolutely. We just, again, our team is super small, so we've been focusing on launching. We only launched the public beta last Friday, but that is very much in the pipeline.
Beauty. Okay, so I'm going to I'm just going to raise my hand and just let you know that, okay, as far as I know, within BanklessDAO, I'm one of the coordinators. So in theory, that means I should be able to click on here in the page you're on and submit the outcome, but I can't actually see that. Is there a reason why?
Which one of these?
Any of those. Yeah, I don't see the submit button anywhere.
Okay, let me just check. Oh, it's because you're so you're not a coordinator of the room. So I'm just going to make everyone a coordinator here. and only coordinators can submit outcomes, and this is just to avoid spam. So you should be able to see it now. Maybe you need to refresh, but you should be able to see it.
Got it. I thought I was going crazy, and
No.
I thought my smooth brain
That's
was
a very
taking
good
over.
point. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so that's good. Okay, so I can submit these, and then they'll all be done.
Yeah. So you just submit it.
The last one is grayed out. Why is that?
Because it doesn't. So you can see here on my screen that in the hub we got the notification that there's a new outcome to review. You also have it here on the sidebar, and this one's grayed out because it's not pointing anywhere. It's just in the room. You don't need to have an outcome point anywhere to post it. You can just ask people questions. So I'm going to go here and comment. Can we add target to this outcome? And that should be it. So if you click edit and then add the target, it should be possible.
Okay.
We're pretty big on integrations. So just going to go to this scrap here. You can see a few things that are coming soon, like getting paid automatically for the work that you do. It really depends on how useful this is, depends on the projects that you currently have ongoing. What we've been finding is that having a small team join in and get the lay of the land first, try out new things, they're able to later on, get much more out of Avenue. So we had All In for Sport join with just a small team, and they're now making it a core of the contributor experience. Given that Bankless, if you want to try out further, given that Bankless is so massive in terms of organization, my recommendation would be set it up with a small team, see how it feels to you, and then start expanding it and start defining the processes around that. That has been a very successful strategy so far with other DAOs.
Nice. So currently this is free, correct? And what sort of monetization plans do you have for the future?
Yeah, so currently it is free. The monetization plans right now are around the automatic actions. Like I said, there's a lot of automation that goes behind the scenes through these, and they actually help you get a lot of ops work done in a lot less time. Just the work that you currently have, having to pay contributors and go through that whole rigmarole is massive. You'd be able to do this on demand and automatically just by approving an outcome. So we see these actions as a way to do fair monetization. As Avenue becomes part of the workflow processes of the DAO, and as the DAO grows, they'll make more use of actions, and therefore actions also help them save time and save effort, and that's where we're headed towards with monetization. Of course, starting with a free tier, of course, helping DAOs that are just getting started, that don't have big numbers, grow their community. But what we are thinking towards in the future is, as the DAO grows and saves more and more time by doing this, start paying for runs of these contributions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Runs of these actions, I mean.
Yeah, that makes sense. So automate actions and then charge for that, and sort of reduces the workload, offload that work to automation. So Humpty, I see you said did I miss how to add a contribution? So that would be you go into a room, and then on the right hand side there's a little green sheet. It looks like an Excel sheet. You click on that, and then you can add an outcome there. Oh, that's an outcome contribution.
Yeah, exactly.
A contribution is when you, okay, go again, Mendez.
Yeah, the contribution happens when your work is approved, when your work is shipped, and the DAO approves it. So we're going to be adding manual contributions very, very soon, so you don't need to get them approved. You're going to have a button where you can click and just input what you did, input your work, and you can mint it if you want. You don't need to go through the outcome rigmarole.
Got it. So you create your outcome, and then when your outcome is approved, that becomes your contribution.
Exactly, yeah.
Got it. Okay, it's coming together. Beauty. All right. Well, we've gone over a little bit, but was there anything else that you wanted to add before we wrap this baby up?
Not really. Any questions that you might have, feel free to reach out. If you have other communities that you'd like to see onboarded, you can DM us. You can DM me on Twitter at 0xFRM. I'll leave my Twitter there. And you can also go here down the sidebar to create an org profile. For now, this step is manual on our side, so you're going to have a little form here. But after you submit that form in a couple of hours, we're going to onboard you, and we're going to help you set things up. Make sure that you get the proper experience and get the most out of the avenue as you can. I'm going to drop our links here in the chat, and any questions, just reach out.
Okay, yeah, so that's how you would set up a new org. For anybody watching this on YouTube, if you're interested, just go ahead and yeah, fill out that form, and you'll be able to onboard your own organization. So yeah, thanks a lot, Mendez, for joining us today. Salman, was there anything you wanted to add before we wrap?
No, I think this was good. Great demo. Thank you so much, Mendez.
Thank you for having me. Hopefully you'll be able to try this out and get more out of your work in Web3.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks a lot. Just a reminder, everybody, none of this was financial investment, legal, tax, or any other kind of advice. We're just here exploring new Web3 tools. If you have a Web3 project that you'd like to show off in the BanklessDAO Discord, please get in touch. We've got a form you can fill out. Super easy process. And we'd love to have you. All right. See you in just a minute for the White Hat DAO demo.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thanks. See ya.